Western Spring Television. Ours it is.
Good evening and welcome to Spring Global on Western Spring Television. Now the headlines. Russian president vows to fulfill all the goals of its military campaign in Ukraine. United Kingdom ambulance staff begin strike over wages. U.S. House Committee votes to make former President Donald Trump's tax record public. My name is Damilola Raphael. Russian President Vladimir Putin has vowed Russia will fulfill all the goals of its military campaign in Ukraine as he heralded soldiers and defense chiefs as heroes. President Putin, speaking at an end-of-year meeting of Russia's top defense chiefs, said NATO was using its full capabilities against Russia and urged military leaders to use their experience gained fighting in Syria and its special military operation in Ukraine. President Putin also promised to give the armed forces anything they ask to support the military campaign in Ukraine. He added that Russia needs to take special note of the importance of drones in the conflict and said Russia's hypersonic Samart missile tagged Saturn II would be ready for deployment soon. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky says he is on his way to Washington, where he will meet U.S. President Joe Biden today. It is his first foreign trip since Russia invaded in February. The White House has also confirmed the trip and said it will supply Ukraine with a Patriot missile battery, significantly increasing the country's air defense capability. Zelensky will also address Congress and hold a number of meetings. The Ukrainian president has spoken frequently to world leaders over the telephone and by video call, often from his office in Kyiv. The International Atomic Energy Agency chief, Rafael Grossi, will visit Russia on Thursday to discuss creating a security zone around the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant. The Zaporizhzhia plant, which is based in Russian-occupied territory, has come under repeated shelling attacks, but each side has blamed on the other, raising fears of a nuclear disaster. The Kremlin, however, said Rafael Grossi is not expected to meet with President Vladimir Putin during his visit. Russian President Vladimir Putin will join in a video conference marking the launch of the Kovykta gas field, which carries Russian gas to China. The field is the largest in eastern Russia, and its launch is part of a significant drive by Russia to ramp up gas supplies to China as the European Union imposes oil and gas sanctions on Moscow. Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov told newsmen that the project is a unique deposit. He added that there are also plans to construct another major pipeline, the Power of Siberia 2, via Mongolia, with a view to selling an additional 50 BCM of gas per year. He revealed that former Russian President Dmitry Medvedev is in China for talks with President Xi Jinping, which includes discussions on the no-limit strategic partnership. Russia is now Beijing's third highest gas supplier. Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov says it appears European countries are not conducting a proper investigation into the series of explosions that ruptured the Nord Stream gas pipelines in September. Lavrov, speaking in a press briefing, said after the explosions on the Nord Stream, Russia had to stop gas transportation through the northern routes. He further stated that it appears nobody in the European Union was going to objectively investigate the explosion. Russia has blamed Britain for the explosions, claims rejected by London, while investigators in Sweden and Denmark said they were the deliberate results of sabotage, though did not name any possible culprits. A London High Court has ruled that the British government's post-Brexit settlement scheme for European Union citizens is unlawful. An agency funded by the government to oversee citizens' rights took the Home Office to court, arguing Britain is breaching its withdrawal agreement with the European Union by requiring EU citizens to reapply for the right to live and work in the United Kingdom. Judge Peter Lane, however, ruled that the British government's interpretation of the withdrawal agreement was wrong in law and the settlement scheme was unlawful. He further granted the Home Office permission to appeal against this decision. United Kingdom ambulance workers began strike, widening disputes with the government over its refusal to increase pay above inflation after recent walkouts by nurses. Healthcare leaders continue to warn about straining a health system already in crisis as ambulance staff at the state-run National Health Service, NHS, including paramedics and call handlers, walked out today. Parliament has drafted in 750 military personnel to drive ambulances and perform logistics roles to mitigate the fallout of today's ambulance strike. Thousands of members of the Royal College of Nursing in England, Wales, and Northern Ireland took to picket lines yesterday, just 5 days after their first strike in its 106-year history. However, former Labour leader Jeremy Corbyn said the army should not be used as a battering ram from a government that is refusing to meet workers' representatives.
We cannot surely be proud of a National Health Service when we clap them during the COVID crisis, underpay them all the rest of the time, ignore their mental health stress that they're going through, and then expect them to continue on what is often very low pay, and some of them even have to access food banks just to survive. Surely we can do a lot better than that for our National Health Service workers and stop threatening them with more privatisation of the ambulance service and so much else, and indeed threaten them with bringing in the military to do the jobs of both nursing and ambulance staff during this particular dispute. That's not what the military exists for, that's not what they're there for, and they shouldn't be used as a battering ram from a government that is refusing to meet the workers' representatives in delivering those important services.
Burkina Faso has denied allegation by the president of Ghana that Burkina Faso had paid Russian mercenaries by giving them the right to a mine. Burkina Faso's Mines Minister Simon Pierre Boussim stated this while speaking to reporters after a meeting with civil society groups. According to him, the Burkinabe government did recently award a new exploration permit to Russian firm North Gold for a gold mine in the Central North region, but the company has been active in Burkina Faso for over a decade. Ghanaian President Nana Akufo-Addo had last week alleged that Burkina Faso had hired mercenaries from Russia's Wagner Group to help it fight Islamist militants and pay them with mines rights. The prospect of the group expanding its presence in Africa has troubled Western powers such as France and the United States to say it exploits mineral resources and commits human rights abuses in countries where it operates. Iran Foreign Minister Hossein Amir-Abdollahian says Saudi Arabia is open to more dialogue with Iran. Amir-Abdollahian stated this after meeting his Saudi counterpart Prince Faisal bin Farhan Al Saud in Jordan, adding that the Saudi minister assured him of Saudi's readiness to continue dialogue with Iran. Amir-Abdollahian did not disclose more details of the meeting, and Saudi officials are yet to comment publicly. Iranian foreign minister spoke with the Saudi foreign minister and other counterparts from the region and from France on the sidelines of an Iraq-focused conference in Jordan yesterday. The two regional rivals cut diplomatic ties in 2016 after a crowd stormed the Sunni-majority kingdom's embassy in Tehran following the execution of a prominent Shia leader. At least 100 Rohingya refugees are stranded in a boat off India's Andaman Island, with as many as 16 persons said to be dead. It was gathered that the stranded boat was approached by 5 Indian ships late last night. According to the director of the Arakan project, which works to support Myanmar's Rohingya, Chris Lewa, at least 20 persons are dead, some from hunger and thirst, while others jumped overboard in desperation. He stated that the development is absolutely awful and outrageous, adding that the ship has spent more than 25 days in the sea. You're watching Spring Global on Western Spring Television. We will be right back after this break.
words of Michael Forbes, one who never asks questions, either knows everything and nothing. Watch me as I ask the questions you think no one wants to answer. Even questions it appears no one has got the guts to ask. My name is Femi Adefina, and I've got the gut. Let's ask the pertinent questions and watch as we get answers.
You're welcome back. A United States House of Representatives committee has voted to publicly release years of tax returns obtained from former President Donald Trump. The Ways and Means Committee, a body responsible for overseeing tax-related issues, voted 24-16 in a closed-door session yesterday. The vote caps up a years-long legal and political battle in what was seen as the last opportunity for the Democrat-led panel to broach the issue. According to the committee's chairman, Richard Neal, a summary of Trump's tax returns between 2015 and 2021, when he was running for president and serving in the White House, will be partially redacted and released within days. Republicans have denounced Tuesday's vote as partisan. The House of Representatives is set to shift to Republican control in January following November's midterm elections.
I move that the committee favorably report to the House the Select Committee's final report, which includes the committee's legislative recommendations and criminal referrals of Donald J. Trump and others, pursuant to Section 4A of House Resolution 503.
The question is on the motion to favorably report to the House. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. In the opinion of the chair, the ayes have it.
Mr. Chairman, on this vote, there are 9 ayes and 0 noes.
Peru's Foreign Minister Ana Cecilia Gavassi has announced that Peru has declared Mexico's ambassador to Lima a persona non grata and ordered him to leave the country in 72 hours. The abrupt order came yesterday after Mexican Ambassador Pablo Monroy announced that his country had granted asylum to the family of Pedro Castillo, who was removed as Peruvian president earlier this month. Castillo is facing rebellion charges from behind bars after attempting what critics have labeled a coup on December 7th. Reacting, Mexico's Foreign Minister Marcelo Ebrard said on Twitter that the expulsion was unjustified and reprehensible. The Taliban have banned women from universities in Afghanistan, sparking international condemnation and despair among young people in the country. The Higher Education Minister announced the regression yesterday, saying it would take immediate effect. The ban further restricts women's education. It would be recalled girls have already been excluded from secondary schools since the Taliban returned last year. Some women staged protests in the capital of Kabul today, but the demonstrations were quickly shut down by Taliban officials. The United Nations and several countries have condemned the order, which takes Afghanistan back to the Taliban's first period of rule when girls could not receive formal education. And vandals have destroyed sacred artwork in South Australia, believed to be about 30,000 years old. The Nullarbor plain art, which are designs carved into the chalk limestone walls of the Kunoda Cave, has special significance for the region's Aboriginal Mirnin people. The vandals were said to have dug under a steel gate before scrolling "Don't Look Now," but this is a death cave on the walls. South Australia Attorney General and Aboriginal Affairs Minister Kian Mehar says the incident is quite shocking, adding that the authorities are investigating the development. He revealed that the caves are some of the earliest evidence of Aboriginal occupation of that part of the country. In business, the International Monetary Fund's Executive Board has concluded a third program review allowing for an immediate disbursement of about $203 million to the Democratic Republic of Congo. The IMF stated this in a statement yesterday, saying that the disbursement will help reinforce international reserves given downside risk to the domestic and global economic outlook. Congo has a 3-year, $1.5 billion extended credit facility program with the IMF agreed last year to help meet financing needs associated with the coronavirus pandemic. Elon Musk has said he will resign as Twitter's chief executive officer when he finds someone foolish enough to take the job. The billionaire promised earlier to abide by the results of a Twitter poll which saw 57.5% of users vote yes to him quitting the role. He says he will still run the software and service teams after his replacement is found. Changes on the platform since his takeover have been much criticized. Since Mr. Musk bought the social media site in October, he's fired about half of its staff and attempted the rollout of Twitter's paid-for-verification feature before putting it on pause. The feature was, however, relaunched last week. Manchester City manager Pep Guardiola has spoken of his delight for City's newly crowned World Cup winner, Julian Alvarez. Pep, speaking at his pre-match press conference ahead of his side Carabao Cup tie with Liverpool, congratulated the striker alongside his international teammate Lionel Messi. He described the Argentine captain as one of the best in the world. The City boss also revealed that Alvarez would have a short period of rest and recuperation before returning to link up with his teammates at the CFA. The striker was part of the Argentina squad that lifted the World Cup in dramatic fashion last weekend, securing a 4-2 penalty shootout win against France after the side had drawn 3-3 over 120 dramatic minutes.
Nobody can doubt that he is there with the greatest all the time. For me, I said many times, it's the best. Will be difficult to understand a player can appear and compete what he has done in the last 50, 70 years. But the people who saw Pelé, for example, or Di Stefano, or Maradona, well, I don't know, I saw him, but the people can say my favorite, because also in this opinion there are sentimental, approach. But on the other side, if he would not have won the World Cup, the opinion about what he has done for the world football, or my opinion, personal opinion, that how he's a player would not change absolutely anything. But it's normal that the people, it depends on who win. You are evaluated, and of course for him is the final, cherries of his incredible career.
Before we end Spring Global, here is a recap of our top stories. Russian President Vladimir Putin has vowed Russia will fulfill all the goals of its military campaign in Ukraine as he heralded soldiers and defense chiefs as heroes. United Kingdom ambulance workers have gone on strike, widening a dispute with the government over its refusal to increase pay above inflation after recent walkouts by nurses. A United States House of Representatives committee has voted to publicly release years of tax returns obtained from former President Donald Trump. You can follow us on our social media handles on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Western Spring Television. You can also watch us live on our YouTube channel at Western Spring Television. I am Damilola Raphael. Thank you for watching. Good evening.